Aloha, and as always, mahalo for tuning in. Since the start of Doko Ga TV Japan Mania, we've showcased some of the best of Japan's foods, locales, experiences, history, pop culture, and people. Well, this past summer, we started the first of our AdventureMania video diary series as Team Doko Ga TV got to experience Alaska as part of a non-stop travel Norwegian Bliss cruise experience. And if that wasn't cool enough, I had the honor of sailing through Alaska with former Miss Hawaii, award-winning journalist, Emmy-nominated writer, and creator of The Best Hawaii, the Olena Heu. Olena and I were both really excited, as this would be our first time in Alaska and my first time on a Norwegian Cruise Line ship. We even got to spend a few nights in Seattle to kick off our nonstop travel Alaska cruise adventure. Our first stop was a real highlight of the trip, the Tulalip Resort Casino. Developed and managed by the Tulalip tribe, this AAA 4-diamond resort and casino features 370 luxurious rooms, fantastic amenities, over 192,000 square feet of gaming space, and absolutely fabulous restaurants.
Aloha, my name is Samantha Rose. I'm a Tulalip tribal member. I've worked at the casino for 10 years. We have 370 rooms and are a 4-diamond resort. We have 8 dining options for you, along with a full-service spa and a full concierge service as well.
Okay, when you walk in to the main lobby of the resort, you're going to be welcomed by 3 house posts. Putting your hands out like this is welcoming. So this is our welcome house post, and it's 998 years old. It took about 14 months for each pole to be made, and it's 1 tree stacked on each other, so it's 125 feet.
Wow. Is it carved by hand?
All of it is carved by hand. House post you'll see at the museum is also a part of the same tree.
Oh,
and they will explain that as
oh
well.
My goodness.
So they really believe in not wasting any of the tree.
The works of Tulalip master carvers James Madison and Joe Gobin's designs give the hotel a very unique, museum-like richness, which was absolutely stunning and majestic. The moment Olena and I walked into the resort, the artwork and carvings that are featured throughout the property were genuinely awe-inspiring and strikingly beautiful.
The casino here is located on the Tulalip Reservation. We have over 4,000 members here. I'm a Tulalip tribal member, and we do have other Tulalip tribal members employed here. We have a lot of featured art from our Native American artists. This is James Madison's piece here. His grandfather used to tell him a story when he was a child about the salmon run starting, and that when that season would approach us, the monarch butterfly and the dragonflies, they would begin to come out, and that's how we knew that it was time to fish for the salmon. Also here, he has the moon faces, and those can help represent the tides. And then also around the sides here are the logs that are floating in the tide and the water as well. Also, after a long day of shopping, if you wanted to, you could visit our spa and receive a massage.
I'm looking for Olena.
This is she.
Hi. My name's Lori. I'll be doing your massage therapy for you today. How are you doing? Good? Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. Absolutely amazing. Oh, her hands were like little angels. Polly, you're totally missing out because he's busy gambling.
We are located about 45 minutes outside of Seattle. So a lot of people like to visit here, have a night of gambling, go to a concert, do some dancing in our cabaret.
All right, so I'm here at the Tulalip Resort and Casino gift shop with Kylie. And so Kylie, tell me what some of your favorite things are, maybe some of the things that people love to get.
One of the really popular is actually Pandora that we're standing here in front of. We sell lots of handbags. We have lots of high-end Michael Kors, Kate Spade as well. Another really big high-end is all of our clothing. It's very unique. You don't really find it anywhere else other than here.
There's something for everybody.
Yes.
Alaskan crab eggs Benedict.
BLT per Gene Miyake of Nonstop Travel. This was his first recommendation, and this is his second. This is their seafood chowder.
I think I can eat it with a fork.
Magic.
Is this a Pali thing or is this a
Alright.
Pacific Northwest thing?
I love fish and chips, and I was eating the fish part. I ran out of fish, and I forgot, and I dipped it in with a fry, and like, ta-da, try it.
Alright.
Just try it. There's hesitation
I'm
there.
mildly apprehensive.
See? As the resort casino was developed by the Tulalip tribe, Olena and I got to learn more about their culture, history, and practices at the Hibulb Cultural Center and National History Preserve.
Welcome to the Hibulb Cultural Center and Natural History Preserve. This facility has been open since 2011. We are the home to the history and culture of the Tulalip tribes. This section here is a tribute to cedar. We consider the cedar tree our grandmother. The cedar tree gave us life. Everything that we needed came from the cedar tree. Our clothing was made from cedar, our homes. We use cedar to store our food and to make tools. This exhibit right here is very popular. I was told from our past leader that this tree is molded from a tree or modeled after a tree in our 52-acre natural history preserve. When you open the tree, it shows you all of the different layers and how they were important to our people. We have a few unique artifacts. Well, all of our artifacts are unique, but these right here are carbon dated between 2,000 and 3,000 years old, right here. They were found at a wet site in the state, and they've been in our care since the early 2000s. Moving along to our next section is on Salmon and Waterways. And in this section, we talk about the whole salmon life cycle. We have a replicated fish trap, a replicated fishing hut. This type of a structure would be found along the riverbeds and beaches during fishing season, and your family would have stayed in it to get out of the rain or to just get shelter and sleep. One of our tribal elders had made all of the cattail mats for this fishing hut. We have other artifacts that you would have found along the riverbed: paddles, an anchor, a club, and baskets. So we've tried to replicate what a fishing village would have looked like. So the Tulalip tribes are a sovereign nation. We talk about being a sovereign government. We talk about the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855, which is the treaty that quite a few tribes in this area had signed. Over here, we talk about after treaties were signed and how the goal of the government was to make us farmers and begin the assimilation process. When we go inside the circle, this area is called Tulalip today. And in here, we talk about the history of our people after the treaties were signed. So from the signing of treaties to now, how we sustained our natural and cultural resources, how we revitalized and kept our language alive, how we use our business opportunities to provide for our people. This area is extremely important to us because it's a story of survival. We talk about the seasons, how they were significant, how we would prepare for each season. In the spring, we would start preparing for fishing when we would see the first butterfly. That was a sign for us that the fish were coming back and it was time to get ready. This section in here, we talk about boarding schools and religion. So Tulalip had a boarding school on the reservation. The boys were taught to farm and the girls were taught to sew and to cook. The boarding schools were run by the Catholic Church through the United States government. So there are a lot of letters from the nuns and the priests to the United States government giving updates about that. Some of the letters we have had in our collection talk about civilized people, and that if you are considering civilized people as people that use knives and forks and speak English, then no, our people are not. But if you are talking about people that love each other and are family and community, then yes, this is a very civilized group of individuals, but all orders came from the United States government. So our people really prayed to the Creator. The Creator gave everything and everyone life.
And right here, the picture of the Shaker Church, which was what I was going to talk about next, is like that. It is a mix between Christianity and traditional ways of praying. The Shaker Church was highly illegal. If you were caught practicing Shaker religion, you would go to jail. This underground religion was held in people's basements or garages, not out in the open. Yes, and there's similar religions to Shaker all across. I think they found it through the tribes in New Zealand as well. Any time there was oppression and assimilation, people would merge and try to stick to what they knew. An area I think is really important to our exhibits is our ancestral lands map, just because it shows how many villages were actually in this area. Every single white dot on this map signifies a village. Our traditional village was right here in Tulalip. The village of Hibulb, which we are named after, was more in Everett at Preston Point or Legion Park area now. And that was the largest of the Snohomish villages. So we, in building our cultural center and planning for it for 30 years, named it after the village of Hibulb. This darker colored tile signifies the Snohomish River. We have 3 canoes that have all come from the Wayne Williams and William Shelton collection. This canoe right here was actually William's personal canoe. He had used it to travel. And then we have the larger of our canoes, which did not come from this area at all. It came from the peninsula area tribes, and in the 1800s, it was going to be used as the dowry in a wedding. When the bride and groom met, they refused to get married. They didn't like each other. So in the 1800s, that brings huge shame, the early 1800s, on both families. The family who created it refused to take it with them. You know, the peninsula's far, it's an ocean-going canoe, much bigger than the canoes we had in this area. And the family who was supposed to accept it refused because it's just not classy either way, you know, very prideful people. So it just stayed underneath our longhouse, and whoever had a crew big enough to use it would, and then William Shelton purchased it from the leadership at the time and used it for a model and modeled our newer canoes from it. Thank you so much for coming to the Hibulb Cultural Center and Natural History Preserve. Thank you for visiting Tulalip. We hope that you enjoyed learning about the history and culture of our people.
Holly and I thoroughly enjoyed our exceptional experience at the Tulalip Resort Casino. One of the much agreed upon highlights was the fantastic food. I can't stress enough on how good the dining experiences were. From the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week Cedars Cafe to the incredible seafood selections and some of the best salmon we've ever tasted at Restaurant Blackfish. While Polly wasn't able to win us retirement from the casino, we're definitely lifelong fans and can't wait to visit here again. After a very informative, relaxing, and food-filled stay in Tulalip, we made our way to downtown Seattle, which was about 40 minutes out from the resort casino. We'd be spending some time in Seattle for an additional day of exploration, and wouldn't you know it, more food. We checked into the Hyatt Regency Seattle, the largest hotel in the Pacific Northwest area, which is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Seattle. The location of the Hyatt puts you right in the middle of the city's must-visit highlights and attractions. In addition to the great restaurants in the hotel and the adjacent areas, we got to relax a bit at the Hyatt Regency's club, the indoor-outdoor lounge, which features a wraparound terrace that gives you a great panoramic view of the synergy of Seattle's streets.
Hey folks, aloha.
We made it!
We made it! We're here in one of Seattle's signature spots where we're gonna have a lot of seafood and chowder and maybe some drinks and then some.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready to eat. I'm hungry.
Me too, let's go!
After checking in, our first stop, Seattle's iconic market. Pike's Place Public Market opened in August 1907 and is one of the oldest public farmers markets in the U.S. Pike's Place is home to over 10 million visitors annually and is Seattle's most popular visitor destination. From a wide selection of foods, crafts, and entertainment, Polly and I were on a mission to find some of Seattle's snacks and seafood goodies for lunch.
We're here for the most significant activity here at Pikes. Now, what's next? We have to find...
I want to find like a lobster roll or something.
It's like a unicorn sighting.
Yeah.
We
Do you
have
want
to find...
chowder or?
I want both, actually, because we're in Seattle, so... Let's do this. Let's do this.
What flavor did you get?
I got us red velvet cream cheesecake.
How did you know? That's my
Sign
favorite.
said, Olena Heu's favorite here in Seattle.
Sweetened condensed milk.
Oh, what? Is that even legal to use on these things?
That's the flavor I'm getting.
Oh my God. Hey,
That's a little bite of heaven.
red velvet cake, cream cheese, sweetened condensed milk, no calories. Jumbo shrimp cocktail from our friend right behind us. Go ahead, Olena. Get the sauce, get the sauce. Thumbs up. Check it out, look at this. Ta-da! It's always food time. And I love that it's always food time with you too.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm always hungry.
and I mean, we didn't even coordinate this, but look at this. Look at that.
Scary.
It's scary, absolutely
So we were
scary.
at Pikes Market. It was kind of crazy. We're hungry, and so I just kind of wandered across the street. I saw some people hanging out of the window.
Yep.
We ventured over to Pike's Place Bar and Grill.
And we met the coolest cat over here who happens to be in love with Hawaii and going to move to Hawaii. And immediately bonded with Olena like everyone else here on the planet does. And just rolls up his sleeve, Hawaii,
Tattoo.
birthplace. Hawaii, birthplace. So how do you even leave the house? It's like, it's crazy.
Oh, stop.
Everybody, you know. Let's eat this and get going. Aloha. First monorail ride ever here in Seattle. Heading to Seattle Center, awaiting the Norwegian Bliss cruise tomorrow morning. Should be a lot of fun. Wow, speaking of speed, I like that. Much faster than the one in Pearl Ridge. Much faster.
It's so convenient and fast and affordable and cheap and easy and quiet.
And clean. Very clean.
Star Wars. Do you want a picture with Darth?
Nah, thanks. I'm good. Wow, this has been a great experience so far. This is only day 2. Yikes.
It feels like it's been a week, but it's amazing.
Which is great because we have many, many more adventures to share with you all back home. We're here in downtown Seattle. This is the Seattle Hyatt. Absolutely beautiful up here. I love the open air space. This is actually their guest lounge area. This happens to be during one of the biggest video game conferences here. Now, the biggest one is in Japan, and for the US, it's PAX, and we're here right during PAX. You're gonna hopefully see some great video game characters or some other very popular cosplay and pop culture icons walking around, so.
Kind of crazy. They're very colorful.
Very, very colorful. And then we head out to the Norwegian Bliss. More to come, folks. Ikimashou.
After a fun-filled day playing tourist in Seattle, it was time for dinner, and Olena picked a winner. Big time. Located in Seattle's Capitol Hill, award-winning restaurant New was the ultimate choice as it was one of the highest-rated restaurants in the city and has been recognized by numerous travel sites as being a must-dine experience. The drinks were quite potently pleasant, and as you can see by our documented proof, each of the dishes here have a mouth-watering kaleidoscope of color and textures. What can be best described by their own words and verified by our instant smiles and grins after our first bite? New features freakishly awesome food. New's menu can be described as a global approach to Asian dishes, of which seasonings, spices, and flavors mirror that of the restaurant's ultra-cool, vibrant interior. Classy and sassy, scintillating yet subtle at the same time. Everything at New was fantastic.
The day finally arrived. The nonstop travel group and team DokoGaTV gathered at Bell Street Pier Cruise Terminal and boarded the Norwegian Cruise Line's newest ship, the Norwegian Bliss.
Everyone just got in, the group got checked in, finally got on board. I don't know where Olena's at. Oh, there's where Olena's at. What is it?
It's a pina colada.
It's a pina colada.
And just like that, the nonstop travel group, the Olena Heu and Team DokoGaTV were on our way. The welcome party on the Norwegian Bliss went on for quite a while, with music, refreshments, lots of smiles, and dancing that lasted until sunset. As always, mahalo for tuning in, and please join us next week for part 2 of our DokoGaTV nonstop travel Alaska adventures on the Norwegian Bliss.